Good afternoon from Los Angeles. You're listening to the Top Producers Real Estate Podcast.
Where are you at in your business? Doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an experienced broker. Where are you at? Why aren't you where you want to be? And how can we help you achieve that goal? If you are just starting out, if you're thinking to get into the business, or if you already have a decade or two of experience, you can not only join and learn, you can also contribute.
Hello from Los Angeles. This is Tyler Soderberg, and this is the Top Producers Real Estate Podcast. Today we're going to talk about how to effectively take rest and get recharge and recover from the busy times in your business. It was just Labor Day last weekend, and Bastian and I both took vacations. So we're gonna go into that a little bit, how we rest and how we come back to work after taking that rest. So I have with me Bastian Weinhold, top producing and award-winning real estate agent from New York City. How's it going, Bastian?
Hey guys, hey Taylor, going great, thank you.
Good. So you took a vacation this week, right?
Yes, Labor Day weekend. It's rare that I leave the city for vacation, but on those bigger holidays, especially there right after or before weekend, I'll try to take advantage of it.
Okay, well we'll talk a little bit about that today, how to handle vacations as a real estate agent, because there's a lot of kind of fear of missing out on leads and things like that happens when you take a vacation. So we'll kind of dive into that and explain how you deal with your vacation times. And
Awesome.
how important it is as well. So let's jump into our first topic of the day. As real estate agents, in using today's technology, we're always kind of on our phones. We have access to email and text constantly, 24 hours a day. So how do you deal with that on a daily basis when emails are coming in after you get home from a long day of work? You know, you get home after your last showing and emails are still pouring in, phone's still ringing. What do you do in the evening times to deal with that?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I'm really thankful to have my smartphone and that we have this this technology nowadays that we can connect with basically anyone around the world within seconds, and most of the time it's even for free. But yeah, if you come home after a long day of work and showings and replying emails and phone calls and all of that, and you come back home, you just feel like you need a rest and just sit down and relax, and the phone doesn't stop ringing. It can be challenging at times. So like a couple of years ago, I set a new set of rules for myself and my home. So as soon as I enter again, that's just me, but it works great for me. As soon as I enter my apartment, which is usually at the late afternoon or early evening time after I'll leave pretty early in the day, I turn my phone on silent mode. So it doesn't ring or bling bling or notify me nonstop, because it did, and it will continue to drive me crazy. I used to, like years ago, I used to not do that and have it next to me on the bed and like literally wake up like nonstop as soon as it rings or an email comes in or a text message. I would reply even though it was like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, just because I felt like I need to get back to that person, which led to quite some difficulties, as you can imagine. So like I needed to step back, and so like a couple of years ago, I just have this policy that as soon as I come home, I turn my phone on silent, and I can just recommend that to everyone who's struggling with that, and it will just naturally lead to checking the phone less, I think, because as soon as it rings, even if it's a spam email or whatever text message, like completely unimportant stuff comes in, you tend to check the phone. At least I did. It interrupts the conversations I'm having, or the dinner I'm having, or just my relaxation time, or whatever. So just putting it on silent helped me already a lot. And then after a certain hour, after 10 at night, I don't go on my phone. I just don't touch it until the morning. I know some agents reply emails at midnight, at 1 a.m., at 2 a.m. I get those email replies. And unless they're overseas with a time difference, for me, that's what I did years ago. And now if I look at those emails, I think like, hey guys, like, what are you doing? Don't you have a life? You know what I mean? It feels, for me, it creates the opposite effect. I know they want to get this out, but I don't know. I feel a little weird about it if I get an email reply like 2 or 3 in the morning from an agent that I know is in the same time zone than me. If that makes sense. So yeah, as soon as I come home, I'll check my email every like hour or so if it's the evening, and then I don't touch it after 10 at night. Which means some people have to wait for a reply, and after 10 I usually put in an email reply. Hey, I thank you for your email. I will get back to you as soon as possible. If it's like an email that comes in late at night, they have to wait until the morning, like any other business as well.
Right. And so when you started out and you were replying to these emails all through the night, did you kind of feel like if you didn't reply right away, you were going to lose this potential client or this potential lead? Because I feel like
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people feel. And
Oh, definitely.
also, do you feel, or first of all, I'll ask you two questions. First of all, how do you handle that as a new agent, worrying that you're going to lose out on leads if you don't reply to an email in the middle of the night, basically? And number two, if you're looking at it from a client's perspective, clients can sense desperation in an agent. I feel like they can sense if an agent has to do a deal to put food on the table, kind of. And do
Hmm.
you think that that kind of shows through if an agent is replying to emails in the middle of the night? Do you think clients can kind of sense that?
Yeah, great. I mean, really great points here. So to your first question, yes, definitely. Especially in the beginning, I had this fear of missing out, and I didn't reply the email, and it was like 3 hours late, and this and that, and I lost the client, and yes, you might lose a client, you might lose a lead here and there, but in the long run, it doesn't matter. If you burn out and if you overdo it because you constantly have this fear of missing out, you will just very, very, very quickly drop your productivity and your energy and the whole fun about this job. You will just lose out on all of that just because you have this fear of missing out. You need to reply that email. It really happens quickly because people literally, search online and email you at 4 a.m. or even call you at 3 a.m. I had several people call me at like literally 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. ask me if they can see an apartment. And years ago, I would even answer the phone. So that changed. But yes, there is this fear of missing out. And it's totally different than during the day, during working hours. I don't really take lunch breaks. And so during the day, if somebody emails, calls, or texts me, they get a reply very, very quickly. If I cannot answer right away to answer their questions, I at least send a reply, thanks for the message, thanks for whatever, or thanks for calling me. I'll get back to you as soon as I finish my current appointment. And that leads now to your second question. That comes with two upsides, in my opinion. Number one, the customer you're working with at the moment hears or sees what you do, and you tell them, hey, I just got this phone call. Either you don't answer the phone at all, which is totally fine. I do that depending on the client or customer appointment I'm at. I just don't answer the phone, and I have a voicemail in place answering and saying, hey, I'm out on insurance right now. I'll call you back at whatever time. So the customer you're currently working with sees that and respects that you dedicate your full focus on them because you're sharing the time with them and you're not answering phone calls or emails with other people while you're with this customer. At the second time, the person that is trying to reach you and emails you sees that you're busy. That you are busy. You don't sit around and are like begging for your phone to ring. You're busy out showing. You're a busy guy. That means you're good. You're good at what you do. And they, of course, see, well, if he has a customer and he's not answering the phone or leaves a professional message why he doesn't answer the phone, that's great. He seems professional. That's legit.
When you decide to take a vacation, how do you handle all the leads that are coming in, all the calls, all the emails? How do you handle that? Do you pursue the leads, or do you hand them off to someone else, or what's your strategy there?
Yeah. So I obviously don't want my business to drop to zero and take off all my listings and not be available to my clients as well. So I need to have something or someone in place. It depends on how long I take a vacation. Now we just had the Labor Day vacation. I was away for like four or 5 days, and it was very, very quiet anyway because it was a big holiday. So I didn't expect a lot of calls and traffic during that time. So I didn't need to really put anyone in place in New York while I was away. But if I'm traveling overseas, or it's a longer travel, or last year I did 6 weeks in Europe. I was traveling, which was awesome. I still don't want to lose out on my business here, because it is a business. You don't want to close the shop for like 6 weeks. So I have someone in place here. I have several people in place here that it depends on the arrangement. Either we split the commission, or I pay them for every showing they do. It depends on the structure, and if I keep them on the listing for a longer period of time, then it can be a commission split or even a higher commission split. Either way, if it's a short vacation, like 1, 2, 3, 5 days, or 5, 6 weeks, either way, I always have an email reply and a voice message reply in place on my phone. So if people call me, they know there will be delay in response, and I always include an emergency number from my office as well. So if there's anything super, super urgent, they can always reach someone. And yeah, this is on my phones, and I check my phone on vacation twice per day. So if I'm traveling somewhere near the same time zone, or in the US, I went to Florida over Labor Day, which was the same time zone. I check in the morning, like around 10, 11 a.m., and I check in the late afternoon, around 5 or 6. And the email reply is in place, and I can, check the emails that came in overnight, late afternoon, and I can check what comes in over the day, throughout the day. So that's pretty straightforward. Similar to when I travel overseas, or the time zone is totally different, totally off. I like to check in the morning, so I can capture whatever comes in throughout the day in New York time, and then the late afternoon to see whatever comes in over the early morning or night New York time as well.
So you're on the vacation, you described how you handle the leads. What about when you get back from your vacation, you get back to the city? How do you kind of get back in your rhythm, especially after you've been away for a long time? You mentioned you were away for 6 weeks last year. How do you kind of get back into your rhythm, back into the swing of things?
Yeah, that's a lot more difficult. And I thought it's pretty easy, but that's a lot more difficult. Because while I'm away, I just don't feel like it's just me, but I just don't feel like spending a lot of time on keeping up with all the updates, the new inventory, calling management to see what rented, what sold, what is coming up. I just don't feel like doing that while I'm away. So I lose out on that part. So whenever I come back, it takes me like at least a week of daily work to really get back into it. And I just know it by now. I don't expect to be fully back at it within 24 hours after I get back. By now I have experience with that, and I'm totally prepared for it. So whenever I get back, I know, okay, I need to put in quite some time, at least for the first 5 to 7 days, to really catch up on things. That includes the overall market, the overall business, what sold, what is available, did the market change, what is coming up, is it quiet, is it busy, and just call a lot of brokers and agents I know, talk to people in my office, talk to clients that I know that do some on their own rents or sales around the country. So that's very, very helpful. But in the past, I came back and I thought, well, now I'm back at it. I need to make a deal now. Like, wow, it's the second day I'm back and I didn't make a deal now. And I was wondering, why is that? And it's just because I lost touch with the market. And that's just how it is. I know some agents that go on vacations, then they check the updates every day for 3-4 hours, which is totally cool. For me, it would not be an option, because I feel like I cannot really unplug and recharge and get something else in my mind, which is, in my opinion, crucial to success. At least for me, it is.
What recommendations would you have for agents in terms of when they should take a vacation, how they should take a vacation? Do you find that it's different if you're working in a big city compared to maybe a suburb or a rural market? Is there different strategies of when you should take a vacation, or how you should go about it?
Interesting. Yeah. So again, let's start with me. I grew up in a tiny village in Germany, right? Countryside. Beautiful, but not a lot of things are happening there. So now I'm in Manhattan, which is like couldn't be a more extreme example. Whenever I take a vacation, me at least, I want to get away from people. I want to get away from major cities. I want my quiet time. I want nature. I don't want to deal with a lot of people. I just want my space. So basically the exact opposite situation that I'm in here in New York City, right? which is just what, I don't know, I just feel like that's what I need. So I go hiking where there's many times bad connection, phone connection, or I went to Florida, and it was an open white beach. There were not a lot of people, even though it was Labor Day, pretty quiet. And I really don't do much there. I do sports, I do workout, I go swimming, and again, hiking, fresh air, and I eat healthy. I like to like always explore local foods and this kind of more back to the basics lifestyle, if you know what I mean, if that makes sense. Because here in New York City, it's all like about luxury, and everything is on your fingertips. You could, within a press of a button, you have the most delicious meal ordered to your doorsteps. And I don't know, I somehow desire the opposite when I take a vacation. I really am like a nature boy, so to say. So if you work in a suburb or in I don't know, in nature environment, and that's your market, maybe, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, maybe it's a good idea to jump into the opposite. Maybe you feel energized and have super fun at a major city like New York City. Maybe you have never been at a huge city, and you should come and see how it feels. It's probably not going to be something that you want to experience long term, because it's just very much of an opposite than what you're used to. But for a week or so, maybe it will totally energize you, and you get back at your usual environment, and you feel like, wow, this was really cool. Now I'm happy I'm back, but it was a complete opposite. So yeah, it depends on every person is different, obviously, but I am always seeking and looking for opposites that I have here. So that's just me, and I would encourage anyone to give it a try if you haven't already.
Right, but in terms of everything else we've talked about, how to handle leads on vacations and everything, that applies across the board, right? For whether you're in a big city or in the suburbs, whether you're in rural areas. It's basically the same everywhere, right? Yeah.
Definitely, it is the same. I would definitely say so. It doesn't matter. You are a professional. You're running your own business, and it is a business, and you need to be professional. It doesn't matter where you are. Like we talked about that in one of the other episodes, that I emailed some agents in other parts of the country or even overseas, and it took them like a week or two to reply. That it shouldn't be like that. Even though you're on vacation, you have to have something in place that whoever emails you gets an immediate reply of, wow, this guy is professional, this girl knows what she's doing. It just should be professional, no matter where you go and take a rest.
Okay. Well, I think we're just about out of time for the day, but next week we will be talking about how to handle difficult and high-maintenance clients. That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
All right, well, I appreciate it, Bastian. Have a productive and profitable week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tyler. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.